What is up, everyone? Happy Thursday and welcome to the Deal Lab. I'm your host, Max Jimenez. And look, we have a very busy day today. But before I get into anything, I'm going to try to wrap up this section of the show a little sooner. I know typically we go, 45 minutes or so, just, talking, answering some questions. But today, man, I got a few. I want to give you guys some updates, let you know what's transpired in the last 2 days since I went live. But welcome to the Deal Lab. If you have never been on one of these live, here's a few things to look out for. Number one is we do real calls, we negotiate real deals, and you get to see a real closer close deals live, right? And here's the other thing too is, not only that, but I also break down my calls. I also try to give you guys feedback in regards to, what did I do right, what I do wrong. And then we have this segment here where we, the first 30 minutes usually goes 45 minutes where, I'll give you an update, talk a little bit about some, tips, tricks, and things like that. So, but as you're jumping on, I'm gonna let a few more people get on here. Make sure that you're commenting. Make sure that you're, dropping, where you're tuning in from in the chat. I'll give you a shout out. But I really appreciate we got Jorge is already on. Jorge, what's going on, brother? Happy Thursday, bro. I hope your day has started well and that you've already had your coffee, because I have. Right, just finished my second cup today. I got a nice coffee waiting for me in the fridge for a little bit later. However, it's a homemade iced coffee, so I try not to drink during the week, like go out and stuff. Try to eat. Here's the thing, like during the week I don't go out to eat anywhere. Coffee's always made at the house. So I try to keep really clean, right? Sometimes on the weekend I'll go get a coffee, either a Starbucks or another coffee shop. But hopefully you guys had your coffee. I've had two. So yeah, I'm excited today. We got a lot going on. There is a lot that I got to catch you guys up on, and then also a lot of things that got a lot of leads. Leads are starting to come in now. So that's one of the things is I'm grateful for is that while we were ramping up the marketing campaign, um, you know. I was able to get the CRM to where it needs to be with all the stages, my pipeline with all the stages, and then inside of the stages with the tags. And so now we're just creating automation. We're creating automation to be efficient, right? Look, I don't care what anybody says, right? You don't need a today. I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about April 17th, 2025. Timestamp that. You don't need a big, large team. You don't need a scaled team, right? And look, I've done it at different levels, right? I've had scaled teams. I've had small teams, and now I'm here, right? And right now I am working with the team. I'm not going to say I'm not, but here's what I'm going to tell you, right? So I have a marketing team, right? Partnered up with the marketing company, and then also I have somebody who dispos, and then I got somebody who does transaction coordination. But we're not an actual team that you would normally think about inside like an operation, right? And here's the thing is that scaling, especially this business. Let me bring it in here just a little bit, right? We're talking about April 17, 2025, and we're specifically talking about wholesaling, where it's a business about marketing and sales, right? It's not an investment business. We're not talking about flipping where you need project management and you need to make sure that you're accounting for your material and man hours and all this stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about strictly marketing and sales, wholesale business on April 17, 2025, today, right? You don't need to have a large scaled operation to be able to make really good money. Okay. What you need to have is, first of all, is skills, right? That's the number one thing. Skills. You need to have systems and processes, right? That can help you manage and help you keep you accountable. Okay. And so, and then from there, there's so much opportunity out there, right? Even right now, some of you just don't know it because you're not organized, you're not keeping yourself accountable, you're not managing your pipeline correctly. So it feels like this, like a mess, right? And so I'm here to kind of break that mold. Not and look, I'm not trying to compare myself to somebody who's just starting out. Don't get me wrong, because I don't want people to say, "Oh, Max is, Max, you've already done this and you got these connections and this and that." You guys know that I'm very transparent when it comes to. I don't lie like these other guys that are try to sell you something when in reality, or try to show you or sell you something when in reality you have no idea what is behind them, right? How they were funded, how they got started, who promoted them. What I'm here to tell you is that yes, I didn't just start today. However, is I'm showing you what you're capable of. If you really take this business serious, you don't need a scaled team. You don't need to have 10, 15 people under you, right? If you don't want to. That's all I'm trying to tell you. You can make really good money by taking this business serious, working on your craft, getting better, making the right connections. You're only 2 to 3 connections away from really taking off, right? And once you do that and you realize that, your life becomes a lot better, right? Um, and again, I've done it at all levels, guys. So I'm not speaking from theory here, right? I'm speaking from experience. Honestly, I believe from what's happening and what has transpired here in the last few weeks, this I can make this one of the best years ever, right? Just from what I'm doing, just from the things that just from the people I'm working with, and just from what I'm doing here. Because there's a lot other stuff that goes outside of this. So again, I'm only speaking to those that if you don't want to scale, but you still want to, make good money in wholesaling, you can. Today, April 17, 2025, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, might be a little difficult, but there's so much available for you to position yourself, right? So much opportunity, so many systems and information, and so to be able to grab that and position yourself to have success. As a matter of fact, yesterday I had a meeting. I'm not going to say what names. I'm not going to say who or what yet because I can't. With someone that I've known for a few years. They're coming out with a new system which I'm getting access to, which I'm going to share with you guys. So again, there's so much potential. There's no excuse, right? And there's no need to over leverage yourself. There's no need to overextend yourself. There's no need to try to copy and try to emulate, if you don't want to, a big scaled operation, right? You just got to work on your skills, right? Work on systemizing a lot, and that's what I'm doing right now. Work on systemizing, right? Having the right processes. And this is things that you're going to learn as a newbie. Obviously, you're not going to be able, you're not really going to potentially know all these things because you're just starting out. But if you connect, you're only one or two. I've heard this. One of the things that I have heard a lot in these past years is so deal focus, right? And you should be, by the way. Like if you're just starting out, well, your goal is to get a deal, right? But I think that's a big mistake if you're deal focused. What we should be is connection focus, right? And when I say that, look, I know there's a lot of conversation around this, right? Around connecting, or and this and that. Like when I say you should be focusing on who to connect with, right? So that way it can expedite your growth. You see what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be doing this, I wouldn't have the knowledge that I didn't have if the right connections didn't happen. I'm going to be very transparent with you guys, right? But once you get there, right, you work on your skills, you learn to get better, then you start to connect with people who can help you systemize, right? You're only one connection away from that. And then you start connecting with people who can help you set up the right process for you connectively with those systems. And then literally you become unstoppable, right? Like there's no, if you don't want to, if you don't have to and you don't want to, you don't need to scale to make good money in this business. You don't need to have this large office. Scaling is, it's sort of a lost cause. And I'm going to tell you why right now, right? Most of you guys are like, what do you mean lost cause? So scaling became really popular. The word, right? Scaling became really popular, and 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 what I saw was too many people try to scale too fast. Okay, and the reason and why I added the word a loss or the phrase a lost cause. Well, when you try to scale too fast, you become a lost cause, right? Because you can, just like you trying to scale too fast, right, to grow your business, you can scale yourself out of the business as well too, right? You can scale yourself out of this business just as quick. And that's what I've seen so many people do, right? They try to emulate, they try to copy, they try to, be like this person, be like that person. I want the operation to look like that. When in reality, you need to figure out what is it that you want and how you want to live and how you want your operation to look. Because again, you don't need to scale at a high level if you don't want to, right? And have all this overhead and have all this, personnel and have all these systems. You're only one or two connections from doing that, right? You can scale yourself out of the business just as quick. And I said this the other day, I've seen hundreds of people come and I've seen hundreds of people go. And not all of them left because of that reason, but I can tell you there's a large amount, right, that did. And so again, we find ourselves, that's why I'm doing this, because that's why I'm documenting this. I'm doing this on the live because I want to show you, right, with skill, with the one or two connections, right, a few good systems and and a few good processes, you can become a machine as well too, right? You can start getting the results that you want. You don't need to, again, this could be you and it could be two people, and you're making more money than some of these businesses that are scaled because their overhead is so much, right? Some of these companies that say they make 5 million a year, their profitability is like 10%. Think about that. All this work, all this headache and all these things you make, to make, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, and then your profit percentage is 10%. That's crazy, right? Now, now I'm going to say this: if you have that because you're extracting and you want to flip and you want to develop, like that's awesome, right? You want to build your rental portfolio, like that's great. But again, you don't need that. That's why I created the deal lab, because I want to show that. And look, I'm going to say this again because some of you guys are going to say, "Well, Max, you've been doing this for a long time. You have the connections and you got the leads and this and that." Yeah, of course, right? I'm not trying to hide that in any way. I'm not saying that I don't, but you can too. The only problem is that you don't believe in yourself. You don't believe in yourself enough to work on the skills to get better. You don't believe in yourself enough to, potentially connect with someone that can help you, right? You got to have that belief and overcome that fear so that way you can. I was talking to who was I talking to 2 days ago, right? One of our viewers, a very good friend of mine. I was talking to him and I said, and he tells me he's got over 50,000 leads in his CRM, right? Or no, he can get every month 20,000 leads in his CRM. Skip trace. It doesn't need to be cold call. And I told him and I said, dude, I said, why are you, why don't you, excuse me, why don't you get a young hustler who's hungry, who wants to learn this business, right? Because you've already done deals and your experience, and have them cold call for you, right? They don't have to cold call 8 hours a day if they're working, and tell them you will mentor them and you will show them the ropes. And who cares if he's there 3 months or 6 months? But the fact that you bought that time back for those 3 months, right? and let them do the work of outreach and outbound and cold calling these leads is going to free you up for the bigger things. And so in that conversation, he was like, man, I never thought about that, you know? So that's what I'm saying is that's a connection that he needs to make, bring him into the operation, right? And look, April 2025 right now, you don't need to have an office to bring that person in, right? I'm here in my home office. You see what I'm saying? And so why? Because of our business specifically, the wholesale business, right? Wholesaling, marketing and sales. And so he can connect someone that doesn't even live in a state. He can go on Facebook group and say, hey, I'm looking for someone to mentor. I'm looking for someone, or do you want to learn wholesaling? I have leads that need to be cold call. Who wants to cold call these leads? They're skip trace. I'm willing to pay 20%, right? I'm willing to pay 15%. I'm going to teach you. I've closed 50 deals already. I need help. Again, this is what holds people back because they don't believe in it. And I'm not saying that's what's holding my friend back. I'm just saying this is the things that we need to start thinking about so we can start moving forward in progress. Some of you guys got leads in your CRM that are just sitting there because you can't get to them, right? And if you don't have it systemized, if you don't have a process for them, then you're losing out on money, right? So again, I wanted to go this route. I don't know why, but there's some of you that might. I really don't know why I went this route, but I think there's some of you that need to hear this. I believe there's some of you that really need to understand you're chasing something that's probably not even in your scope, right? You're looking at somebody that's got this big operation, or you're looking at someone who potentially you want to be like, which is fine. Look, I'm here to tell you, whatever is going to motivate you. Like I admire there's a difference between wanting to be like someone and comparing yourself to admiring, to saying, wow, that's crazy what they're doing. That's awesome. And then realizing like, I don't want that. Right. And if you can get to that space a lot faster, it's a lot better for you. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot better for you. But I didn't want to talk. I wasn't planning on talking about it. I was actually just planning on talking to Aaron, but I think some of you need to hear that. And I'll end it with this right here. You remember, stop. You don't need to. If you don't want to, you don't gotta scale. You don't gotta follow everyone else. You don't gotta do what this person is doing just because of this, just because of that. Remember, you gotta work on your skill set, because that's all this business is about, right? One is skill set, because you can't get leads if you don't know how to close them. Okay. You can't talk to sellers and expect to get deals if you don't work on your craft. Okay. That's number one. I'm telling you right now, right? Get better at that. And then number two, you're only one or two connections. You don't need many to help you systemize and build processes, and then start getting the results that you want at a very, very profitable rate. Remember what I said, there's companies out there that say they make 3 million to 5 million a year, but their profitability is like 10%. Percentage is like 10%. That's a lot of money. Some of you guys are saying, well, Max, that's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, right? But at scale, right? All that work, it takes a lot of work, guys. Like to make even 2.5 million a year in this business, it takes a lot of work, right? Like manpower, systems, there's overhead, there's all this stuff. And sometimes you don't see that. What you're looking at is what they're saying, how much they make a year, right? You're not seeing what it takes to get there and all the headaches and everything else, right? There's a lot that's involved into an operations like that and I don't want this to sound like I am downplaying this amount of money to only have about a 10% profitability percentage, right? That's just what it is. And so again, let's bring that back down to us. You guys know that I have a goal to make, 250,000 by the end of the second quarter and you guys are seeing it all right now, right? And my goal is to be at 40 to 45% or higher profitability percentage. Okay. That's what I'm aiming for based on the leads. My goal is to close one, and I'm talking about PPC leads, but I'm not talking about cold call here. My goal is to close 1 in 8 leads. That's my goal. 1 in 8 leads. Okay. I'm doing really well when we look at the PPC leads, And when I say 1 in 8 prospects, I'm talking about people that I actually spoke with. I'm not saying leads that are coming into like the pipeline. I'm talking about people that picked up the phone and I got their why and I got their when and I had had a conversation with them. I'm actually, honestly, I was going, I want to be even more aggressive. I want to go 1 in 5, right? Because I should be doing 1 in 5. But I'm going to give myself a little bit of room. 1 in 8 is what that's my target goal. If I hit 1 in 5, I'm good. Okay. So far I'm doing good. We got, a few leads coming in. We had one that came in and we ended up, that's one that I'm working with my buddy Shane. I just posted that today. Shane tagged me on the, on Reels. That lead came in on Tuesday afternoon, talked to the seller, and then we had it locked up yesterday. Right. So again, this is part of skilling up. So, or working on your skill set. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, so again, you don't need to, again, you can make a lot of money in this business by really working it. You don't need to scale because again, you just as quickly as you want to scale, you can scale yourself out of a business or out of the business. Excuse me. All right. Jorge said facts. Jalen, appreciate the hearts. Jorge said, wow. Yeah, man, that's what it is, bro. It's real talk, right? It's real talk. So, Jermaine, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you. Any questions on that? I think, sometimes you don't hear that. You don't really hear people talk about this because, and maybe, again, guys, I don't listen to every podcast. I don't listen to, I don't see every reels. Like, I'm not here to say that no one talks about this. What I'm trying to tell you is that it's very rare that you hear people talking about this exact thing, right? Any questions about what I'm talking about, what I just said? Because I think sometimes we forget, our mission, right? We forget our mission and we get blindsided, or we get reeled in by the next shiny object, right? Instead of sitting down and kind of just going like this, putting the blinders on, right? And really, really staying focused and locked in, focus and discipline, right? And that's the way you're going to get results. That's the way you're going to continue putting in the work. And remember, I said this on Monday. This is the boring stuff. This is the things that people don't want to hear because it doesn't sell courses, right? It doesn't sell training. It doesn't sell, training. Yeah, courses. So, any questions that you guys have on that? Because I wanted to answer some of you guys' questions on this. Questions or thoughts while I pull everything up for us to start calling, because we got a few leads that came in that we need to touch base. We need to follow up. What's great about, let's see here. All right, here we go. So I'm going to move this lead. All right, so I got a few updates for you. So update number 1 is we ended up getting that deal. It's a PPC lead that came in Tuesday. We got it under contract yesterday. And then I spoke with Willie. Do you guys remember Willie? Willie was the guy that was like, go look at the property first before I signed the agreement. And remember, him and I were going back and forth. So I ended up talking to him yesterday. So he had a lot of pushback on the agreement. He's like, hey, like, I don't like this, this agreement is locking it in and and it's saying close in 20 business days. And so there was a lot of pushback on that. So I ended up talking to him. I said, look, Willie, I'm going to be very transparent, man. And I've been transparent from day one. I am not looking to buy this property because it's a little bit out of our area. What I'm looking to do is I'm looking to honestly I'm gonna wholesale it to one of our financial partners. And he's like, okay. He's like, well, now we're he's like, now we're having a conversation. I said, yeah. I said, listen, here's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Forget about that contract. I said, let me do this. I have over 1 million contacts. I said, I have investors that could potentially buy it from other states. I said, what I want to do, and I pitched him the option agreement. I had to because he wasn't going to sign the contract, right? You guys saw that call live on Monday or Tuesday, whenever that was. Monday, I think it was. And so he's a hard one. And so I ended up converting him, and I'm gonna call, and then I ended up sending him the option agreement. So I got to call him. So there's that one. We still have the Naples, Florida deal that's still being promoted. We ended up talking to the seller yesterday. So and then we ended up, like I said, locking up another deal that came in on Tuesday evening. It was already after the show that I'm JVing with my buddy Shane. That's already locked up. And then I did talk to another guy named Don yesterday. I got to follow up with him next week, April 23rd. I pitched him the Novation. I pitched him the Novation option, and he's open to it. Obviously, he wants me to call him back. He wants to connect again next week. Older guy, doesn't live in the property anymore. He lives in Florida, so that's really good. And then Jimmy, I'll try to call Jimmy again today and see if he had a chance to look at the paperwork. So there's a lot going on, right? You see, now that's why I said, even though there's a lot going on, I don't feel disorganized. I don't feel lost because I'm systemizing things, right? And I have a very good process in place. I have a very good process in place how I keep up with things. Okay, and so my whole dialogue earlier, right, about that is that's why, because I got everything organized. I know where everything's at. Everything's tagged. Everything's in a stage, right? And it's linear. So it's just moving down the line, right? It's just moving down the line for me. And that's how I'm able to keep up with everything. I'm not writing it down on a piece of paper and then, trying to remember who's what and who's who and what I'm doing. So that's the updates. Hopefully by the end of this week, hopefully we can get something today. We have a few leads that we need to follow up with, and not only follow up with, but we got some new leads that I need to call. So any questions you guys have? Everyone's quiet today. We got a few people on here, and it's really quiet, except for the normal viewers. And I know there's some people that get on here and never comment, never say anything, never ask a question. I know you're just here to see what what I'm doing. It's all good. Just make sure you're taking really good notes. Okay, just make sure you're taking really good notes so you can learn something. Um, but let's see. Okay, I got everything ready. I don't need that. Bring that up. So I'm pulling everything up right now, so that way we can start making some calls right away. Okay. Jorge said, I have commented on a couple of posts of people looking for cold callers, but they don't answer back at all. Maybe it's my age. I mean, I don't know, brother. Like I can't tell you what people are thinking, right? Um, you know, usually when someone posts that when they're looking for somebody to call, I usually a lot of people will bombard them and DM them, right? So you have to figure out a way to stand out. And I'm not saying that, that it's your age. I just um you got to be relentless. You know what I'm saying? Like DM another post, DM, maybe even call them, right? Call them on on IG. Call them on what's the other one on Messenger. Just get aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Get aggressive. Don't just comment on the post. Like send a DM, right? Set yourself apart so that way you can stand down and say, "Man, this guy's aggressive." Like if he's aggressive following up with me, this is the guy I want to follow up with my leads. You see what I'm saying? So you got to figure out a way to stand out so that way you can get that call back. So cuz yeah, I've done that before too, bro. Like I've posted, looking for, the earlier in the year I posted that, we were looking for a dispo rep and I had people DM me. I didn't really get back to them, right? Just because I only got back to the ones who um were pretty aggressive on the follow up. So, and that's how I fired people too. I had one guy. I don't know if he's here, if he's still here, but I had one guy who was relentlessly following me up. Like he was literally, um, he hit me up on IG. He hit me up on LinkedIn. Um, and then I can't remember where else it was. But he basically hit me up like everywhere. And I was like, all right. I said, I like this. This is aggressive. So this is the way he follows up with me. Um, I said there's a shot here that he can follow up with the leads this way too. And sure enough, yeah. So that's you got to figure out a way to stand out, like because again, I've done the same thing, but it's no reason as just because as far as getting back to people. Sometimes the spot is filled quick. You just got to figure out a way to stand out. So Lorenzo says, which CRM are you using? I'm using Go High Level. So I'm using so the same company that's providing who's powering the leads. And I'm gonna talk about them here in a little bit, Lorenzo. Um, they're the ones who they provide also. They have a CRM, but the platform they're using is Go High Level, right? That's the CRM that I'm currently using right now. And I'm going to talk about them here in a little bit at the top of the hour, who I'm using for my lead gen. And then, obviously I'll drop the link, and I think some of you guys have booked calls already with them. That's awesome. Just make sure I'm not calling any specific person because I don't know anything. I'm just saying when you do book a call with him, make sure that you show up when you select that time slot. It doesn't look good when you book a call and you don't show up to that appointment, right? That's all I'm saying. Like you got to make sure that again, this is part of being who you are. Hold yourself accountable. I'm not, and if you say you're gonna meet with someone at this time, meet with them, right? But yeah, I'll talk about them here in a little bit at the top of the hour, who they are, and who are the people that I use. So. All right, let's get started here. Let's get this party started. There you go, Jorge. Derek said, "What are you looking for? Are you looking for cold callers, or are you looking to cold call for someone?" This is, I think he was looking for to cold call for someone, Derek. All right, let's go ahead and start making some dials. Who's ready for some calls? Drop a fire emoji, some thumbs up, and let's start. Let's get some calls going. Here we go. Oh, let me bring this. Boom. There you go, Derek. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Felt like I was gonna start rapping. Actually, let me follow up. I'm gonna call Jimmy. Old Jimmy. This call is interesting. See, I don't think he ever got back to me. Um, yeah, let's call Jimmy and see what if he had a chance to look at the option agreement.
Hello?
Hello, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Hey, Jimmy, it's Max.
okay.
Hey, I spoke with you yesterday. I'm following through to see if you had a chance to look at the document I emailed you over.
I'm ready to do it. I just got out. I'm trying to look at this. Okay.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Go ahead.
Probably like around 4 o'clock. Yeah.
About 4 o'clock.
Have you had a chance to go there and look at it or anything like that?
No, not yet. I have a few people that I can send over, but I just, like I said, like I mentioned to you yesterday, right? I want to make sure that I get that permission in writing, so that way, we can get that going.
All right. Well,
Okay,
I'll look at it. I just got out going up to the foot stuff.
got it. Okay, no problem. All right, sounds good. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye. All right, there we go. So let me make a note of that. I need to get that signed so I can start pushing that one. Let's get back to this. Like now we can start calling some of these new leads.
call has been forwarded to voicemail. Hello?
Hello, Guadalupe.
Yes.
Hi, Guadalupe. My name is Max. I'm calling you because we got your inquiry on our website about selling the property over at Deer Park.
About selling it? No, I'm trying to get a loan. Right.
You're trying to get a loan?
Yes, a loan for
Oh,
my,
mhm.
not selling it.
Oh,
Not right
okay.
now.
Like, are you?
Maybe in the future.
Oh, I see. Are you trying to refinance it? Is that what it is?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I see. And how's that going?
Well, I haven't touched nobody yet.
Oh,
My son is the one that applied.
oh, I
So,
see. Yeah, you know what happens sometimes is that when you search like refinance my house or in those general words, like so some of the other websites where people buy homes like ours will pop up and they look like those websites. That's why maybe your son filled out the form that thought maybe it was a company that will refinance your house. Yeah. And then so if you can't refinance, what's going to happen?
oh no, I thought because I wanted to fix my house.
You wanted to fix it?
Uh, yes,
I
that's
see.
why I want.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. And then you don't have any other properties you would consider selling?
A couple of years, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not really.
All right. Well, I appreciate the conversation and good luck with the refinance. Okay.
Okay.
No problem. Bye-bye. Yeah. By the way, guys, that's the thing with PPC, especially when you create like a lookalike a lookalike ad. Sometimes people will click on it and think that it's what they're searching for, right? Like in this case, she's trying to refinance, and probably clicked on the ad. Let's see. So what we're gonna do is just gonna put her under not interested. But again, I already have her on the phone. Might as well talk to her and see, what kind of conversation we can come up with, and just ask her a few questions, some probing questions, right? What happens if you don't refinance? Um, and you have any other properties you would consider selling? Like, try to make the best out of every call. So, all right. So this one, I am gonna call her on first attempt, and then I'm gonna put her on not interested. All right. She is inside. I'm not interested anymore. All right. Next lead. Let's go. You notice again for if you guys are joining me and you're new, I always do double dials, and you notice she answered on the second one, right? Um, just because again, the first dial they don't recognize your number, but if we're calling back to back, it creates curiosity. Like, man, this number's already called me twice. And to be honest with you, most marketers out there won't do that, right? Most marketers or scam calls, they typically won't do that. So when someone sees a number come in back to back, it creates curiosity. Like, why is this number just calling me and didn't leave a message, but they're dialing back again? So it could be something important. It could be something emergent. You know what I mean? Like those things kind of go in mind, and so they are more leaning towards taking the call. It's called Jack. Just hung up. Come on, Jack. Interesting. The number just keeps hanging up. Let's see. I'm gonna call third time. Oh, it says unsuccessful. So it must be a wrong number. So it's a wrong number or something's wrong with the screen. Hmm. Send them a text. See if the text goes through. All right, here we go. Home adjustments. We got your income property. See if the text message goes through. Oh, I see. So END enabled by custom. Well, that's all I needed to know. Not interested. What? Crazy. That lead just came in too. Came in this morning. Let's keep early.
Please leave your message for. Please leave your message for 813-728.
Hello, Charlie. It's Max. I was calling about your property at Park Boulevard because I need to one for me to attempt to contact. Call it temp. Go back. So that one right there, you guys heard me. Gonna put it in attempt to contact, and that was our first attempt. Call him again.
Hello.
Hello, Jay.
Hey,
Hey, Jay, this is Max. I'm calling you because we got your inquiry on our website about selling the property over at Sleepy Falls Room.
yeah.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to call you and verify some information, ask you a few questions to qualify the property for an offer. Is that fair? Well, I'm pulling up the information right now. How's your info going so far?
I'm going well. I'm getting ready to do the work.
Okay. Yes, what do you do for work?
I'm a forklift operator.
Oh, okay. Okay. How long you been doing that?
8 years.
Oh, wow. That's a long time. You like it, huh?
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, yeah, keeps the lights on.
It keeps the lights on, pays the bills, and some extra, hopefully.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I pulled up the property. So obviously everything that I see online is not always correct. I do see that it's a 5 bedroom, 4 bathroom property.
I'm sorry.
What I was saying is the information I have online is not always correct. And what I'm showing is it's a 5 bedroom, 4 bathrooms.
Five bedroom, 3.5.
Oh, 3.5. Okay, perfect. Let me make sure I make a note of that. Okay. And then can you verify the square footage for me?
Oh Lord.
I have 3,411 here online. You think it's a little bigger,
Yeah.
or they might not be counting the garage, honestly. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they
Yeah.
don't.
I don't know if they count the garage.
What is it? It's a 2 car garage?
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm not sure of is this your rent? Is this a like a rental property, or is this your primary residence?
Primary residence.
And, and something I always just like to ask about up front when you decide to sell, not necessarily to us, but potentially someone you can trust. Will anyone else have an input in helping you make the decision?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Is there anyone else that's going to help you make the decision when it comes to selling?
It is my wife.
Your wife. Okay, fair enough. I only ask that because whenever someone's making a big decision like this, they usually have someone else, especially if you're married. I know sometimes they don't get it, but okay. And at some point, one of the things, if it makes sense, right? We don't buy every property from everyone we talk to. If it makes sense in the future, maybe all three of us get on the phone call and when I present the offer to you guys, would that be fair? Okay. And just out of curiosity, how long have you owned the property?
It will be 5 years.
5 years. Okay. Wow, that's less than 10 years. That's not too long. What's got you thinking about selling already?
Uh, my wife and I were discussing about moving into
Okay, that's a big jump. Whereabouts?
Paraguay.
Okay. Is there family out there, or is that just somewhere you guys decided to go?
Just decided to move.
Okay.
No family. All that kids are grown. I'm like, okay, what do we do?
That makes sense. That makes sense. And I'm assuming you guys already have a spot picked out there.
No, I've been looking and we ready to pick out a spot there. And like, let's see. We do, maybe we not. Just see how things line up.
Hey, fair enough. I mean, sometimes everything's gotta be lined up, and that's a big move from what it sounds like. Okay. And then, what have you tried recently to get the property sold?
Um, this is like the first or second, like the second time that I've just tried to, like I called one place, talked to one company, and I'm waiting to hear back. I'm like, you know what? I'm not just gonna go with one company. I want to look see what other people are talking about.
Yeah.
Not just one. 'Cause you never know.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think that you're doing the right thing. There's a lot of options for you out there, and it's always good to get feedback from and it all depends on your goals, your trying to accomplish. I know, with,
Right.
what you just shared with me as far as that's a big goal, and make sure you go with the right people. So, and I really appreciate you, by the way, sharing that, taking the time, taking the call as well. This next part that I'm going to dive into usually takes about a 5 to 10 minutes. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's it.
I appreciate that. A few things of sellers that we bought from in the past, what they wanted to know was, how much money they'll get, how fast they get paid, how the process works a lot of times. Is there anything specific that you are looking for when you work with a company like us?
Um, no, I mean, it's not really. I just kind of want to see what would our offer be.
Yep.
See how things line up. Basically, it did. If everything went through and fine, it would probably be like maybe 6 months before we do. So I'm just kind of just getting some feelings and see what's out there.
Okay, that makes sense. So you're starting early in the process. A question for you is 6 months is that when you want to have the property sold by, or is that somewhat you're looking for the process to be like officially started?
No, yes, it would have to be like finalized by that point.
Okay,
Yeah,
so finalized by 6 months.
yeah.
Perfect. All right. And does that have to do with anything? Just make sure you secure a spot, or just out of curiosity, how come in 6 months?
Oh, just like I guess we see how things line up. Like, hey, if we decide to do it, you know what? Let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Or it's kind of like, you know what? Let's just stay here, live and do what we want to do here. Looking out the outfit.
Yeah, no, totally fair. Totally fair. And, just like everyone, that's the $1 million question, right? Is everybody wants to know what we can offer for the property. Now, obviously, we don't end up buying every property, we look at. And to see if this might fit for you, just like it would be for us, we can get you an offer that you can depend on. Because ultimately, that's what matters. Get you an offer you can depend on. I'm just going to ask you just a few more questions, a few questions about the property, and I'll put it up together. That's out there.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we know the timeline. Obviously, we know you're trying to move Fairway. We know the timeline's about 6 months. Um, if you can get an offer that you feel comfortable and with an offer we can depend on, can that timeline be adjusted, or is that a hard decision? Like
No, that's how much.
that timeline can be adjusted. Okay, perfect. I see. Okay. And then what happens if you don't sell, from now to 6 months?
Then just stay here.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That makes sense, right? No, nothing lost, right? It's just you tried something and it didn't work out. At least you have the property still. Yeah. And then when, as far as selling the property, are you, I know you have some time in your hand. Are you considering more going the convenience? Is that more important, or are you leaning towards going a traditional route?
Oh, there's so many things to go with the convenient route, the traditional route.
Correct.
So many people they want things that sellers are looking for, like or to get the ticket, like or
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I always tell people. So here's a few things. The reason why I asked that question is because a lot of times people say they want to go somewhat convenient route because of those things you just mentioned, but then they realize they're not getting the same amount they would going the traditional route. So I always try to encourage everyone who's trying to, in this case, maximize the value of the house and sell it for truly what it's worth. It would take to list it on the market. You mentioned, right? You would have to let it sit there, have showings. There's going to be picky buyers as
Right.
well, all that stuff, right? And so you're
Right.
almost, you got like two. Which ones do you like? There's two that you got to choose from, and which one you feel more comfortable doing. You know.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And I do see the property's a 2013 build, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What if you were and I'm looking at some pictures, is it still pretty similar to the what the pictures are online?
It was like the 5 years.
Mhm.
I would say we had to change a whole lot.
Kitchen still has
Yeah.
the
The picture that we had is possibly like this furniture, uh, but it's really like not a whole lot of stuff. So furniture, TV, know.
so you haven't done anything to the property at all,
Little,
exterior anywhere?
no.
Yeah, it's a nice home. I'm looking at it right now, the exterior, and then I'm looking at the pictures inside. I do see that it still has the dark color cabinets, correct? Okay. If we wanted to get this, let's just say 2025 standards, what do you believe or think that it would take for us?
Mm, I don't know what would be considered a 2025
Well, I mean everything updated, right? So like 2025, kitchen cabinets, 25, fixtures, and sort of those things.
yeah, it's okay, but that's all like depends on the actual person because
Sure.
some people may want a light brown counter, some people may like a dark marble counter, or
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
it's all based on the person.
Yeah, yeah, no, of course, and that is very true. True point. One of the things is that we try to go more neutral, but obviously the house was built in 2013. That's almost we're past. We're like almost to now 15 years, right? So there are new type of fixtures, and so we still would have to update a few items. I mean, I'm not saying the house is auto work because it's a
I
new
mean,
house, right?
I can see some cosmetic, maybe
Okay.
some cosmetic things, but when we're talking about, we got marble counters, the original marble counters that's in here, uh, things refrigerator. Like, I don't know what's out there as far as like nuclear. Hey, we got, what is it, a tile backslash.
Sure. Okay, so most of the stuff, what I'm hearing would be cosmetic things, if any,
Right.
if any at all. Okay, all right. And one more question. We're almost done here. I know typically when someone's considering selling, usually the day they start thinking about this or submitting the forms, they usually have a number in mind. Just out of curiosity, what are you looking to get for the property?
Uh, maybe, I mean, I know that the house is valued at probably like 420, 415, 420. So maybe like 390, 395, maybe right at four.
Okay, so what'd you say between 390 and like four, right?
Yeah.
Got it.
Because I'm sure it's being the fact that you're a company. Let's say you put 15 or $10,000 into it, then that means that could potentially bump the house up another 35, 40,000. So when you sell it, you're making more.
In some cases, not always, because it just depends on how quickly the houses are selling, right? For the
Right.
most part, that's always the goal. It's always the goal when it comes to us buying properties. But in some cases, it just depends on the market, how quickly they're selling for, and we would have to do a little bit of due diligence, to make sure that, obviously, getting you the right offer also makes sense, for the investment. And we're a full real estate solutions company, so we don't just have one option, right? There are different ways where we can get you exactly what you're looking for, so, around that 390 to 40,000 mark. What I like to do next is I want to, obviously, I know you're early in the process. Sounds to me like if you got an offer you can depend on and you feel comfortable with, you can shorten up that process. Um, but I do want to do some due diligence and call you back and let you know, like, hey, here's the offer, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's okay. But I do want to give ourselves at least some opportunity in order to, look at it and make sure that we're apart. And then if we do find out, let's just say we do uncover that we're within that range of the 390, or let's say even 400,000. Typically, one of the things that we feel comfortable with, and for us to work together, once we do make that offer, and if it works with your timeline, the next steps would to be moved to put everything in writing. Right. But obviously, what I like to do is I want to schedule a call. When would you and your wife be available together so I can call you back and present that offer to you and her?
Um, I would probably, I will probably be done with it. Like I say, I'm on my way to work. What's the big time? Because I'm with two jobs, so you need to be a good time. I know if you need time to do your due diligence.
Yeah, I can call you back as early as tomorrow, but I'm not trying to pressure you to make the decision on that. What I like to do, but what I would like to do is call you where I don't necessarily have to speak to your wife, but if she's there, I can present you the offer, and then you can make the decision. So I'm, this is what I do. So you let me know what works for
I'm on tomorrow's Good Friday.
you.
I
Yeah,
know
it is.
everybody
Yeah,
celebrates, but maybe Monday or Tuesday. That works.
that's fine. That's perfect. Let's do Monday. What time on Monday?
Um, I know that at my first job, I think it's between I think 9 to like 1:30, somewhere in there.
Okay. Will your wife be there as well?
No, I'll be at my first job, but I definitely take a data message to her
Okay.
because I see her at the same.
Got it. Okay. So if we come back and made you the offer and it's at 400,000 and you relate the message to her, what is she gonna say?
I'm like, ooh, man, I do. I mean,
That's what I don't. Like I don't want to, go and do the due diligence, do comping, and then I call you and that you go and do the offer, or or if she has questions, I want to answer those questions, right? Ultimately, yeah, you're working it, but I've been married 24 years. The decision maker is ultimately my wife.
right, and I get it. I've been mad about the same.
Okay, congratulations. I work late as well
So,
too, if that works better for you.
no, because between I think her between 1:30 and 2:30, and I'm headed over to my second job.
Oh, I see.
That's why I say I would have to relate that.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so then let's do that. So Monday, I'll schedule it for Monday, which is the 22nd, and then you said you'll see her, or you'll be available. What time? What was the time?
Between 1:30 and 2:30.
So I will go ahead and put that on the calendar, and then I'll do a little bit more due diligence on this, and I will call you on Monday, Jay. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
very
Jay.
much.
Take care. Bye-bye. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the sound, guys. You guys are saying that it's choppy. I don't know what to it. The adjustments. Hold on. Wait, let me see something. Testing. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Hello. How's it sound? I'm listening to myself on this side, and it sounds. Hello. It sounds. Yeah. So I don't know if it's fixed. Oh, okay. It says sounds better now. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you, Lorenzo. All right. So let's break down that call a little bit. Okay. It went a little longer than I wanted to with that guy, but it's I did it so you guys can see what a full conversation looks like. Damn, but the conversation was all right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you. But the conversation was choppy, unfortunately. Oof. Oof. That was a great conversation too, by the way. So his timeline's a little. He's like he's got a window of 6 months, so he's not looking to make a decision soon. He gave me a lot of pushback towards the end of the call to get him and his wife on the call. I even had to call him out. I'm like, hey, listen, I understand that you're starting this and that you're the one that's taking the lead on it. But if you're married like me, you're married like I am. Ultimately, you know that it's going to come down to you conversating with your wife. And he goes, yeah, no, it is. So I was pushing really hard to get the conversation going. Sorry, to get the follow up with the wife on the phone. But he's not. He's not ready yet, right? I think there's a lot, especially if he's moving out of a country. He has nowhere to. He hasn't identified an opportunity yet where he's going to move to. And they're just thinking about selling now. He wants 390 for the property. I don't think it's a bad number. The properties in that area are going for right around like 460 to 500,000. It just depends on the finishes. So if anything, like this could be, and even though he said that he was wanting to go the more convenient route, I don't know if you guys heard that. Once he sees what I'll do with him is I'll go back to him and I'll present both offers. I said, hey, guess what? Congratulations. You got approved for 2 options, which is really rare because it is, right? Not everyone gets approved for 2 options. One is our quick close option and one is going to be our flex equity program. And so I think with this one, the flex equity program, which is an innovation, is going to be the best on this deal. Great. It's a nice property, by the way. I mean, really, really nice. Like, this thing's not going to need anything at all, to be honest with you. Just because it's a newer build, right? We're talking about a 2013 built. The only thing I don't like in regards to that call was just he was a little bit lax. Like, there's no urgency, there's no need. I tried to push. He said he would be open to cutting the timeline in half if the offer that he received was was something that he can depend on and something that he could that he liked, right? So I got the commitment. I pushed that towards him. This was a good call because I went through and unfortunately you guys didn't get to hear it because I went through the whole process. Like I literally put him through I even did the what is it called? The upfront agreement, right? I did everything. I did the questioning games, advance agreement. I asked him a few questions and uncovering motive, and then obviously the condition. But it sounds to me like you guys didn't hear it. Are you guys hearing me okay now? I just want to make sure before I make the next call. Let me disposition this. So he's East Coast time, so 9. So I would have to call him 10 o'clock my time. Perfect. So I don't know what takeaways you guys had from that call. If you guys were able to hear anything, let me know in the chat. You know, so I'm gonna move that to appointment booked. Update the pipeline. Jorge says yes, you're good now. Taylor says good now. Yep, your problem didn't start until you got to make it with the seller on the car. Oh, on the call. Okay, got it. Okay, I see. All right. So it's a nice property. I like it. I think I really like this for an ovation, right? I'm already underwriting as an ovation. You know, and I think that it'll be a good one. And just listening to him, like what his goal is, especially what he's going to use the money for, the novation is going to be a better option for him. And knowing that he doesn't want to deal with the realtors, that's even better. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. Two things that I'm going to tell you guys. Just because someone says they don't want to list their property, they're not necessarily saying that they're not open to. What they're telling you, you got to listen for cues. What somebody is telling you is that they're saying that they don't want to deal with the agent. They don't want to deal with the process. Not necessarily is it that they don't want to list the property. Okay. So you got to ask a few more questions. And so that was the main thing with him is as I asked him, I said, do you prefer go to the convenience route, or are you leaning towards more traditional? Right. And so he's like, I prefer the convenience, but I made it clear, look, some people say they want to go the convenience route until they hear the offer pretty much. So if you're trying to maximize the value of the property, it's always better to go on the open market. Well, yeah, I know, but then you got to do this, then you got to do that, then you got to do this. That doesn't tell me, right? That doesn't tell me that he doesn't want to list. He's just saying he's laying out the inconvenience of listing it, right? Because they got to deal with everything. He's got 2 jobs and his wife works. But with an ovation, he doesn't have to do that, right? With our flex equity program. You'll still be able to maximize the value of the property, and then we'll be able to handle everything. And so, and I like this property for that specific reason. So Monday when I call him, and you guys are going to be part of that call because it's at 10:30 in the morning, I'm going to present both offers. You guys haven't seen me do that yet. So make sure that you're tuned in on Monday, because Monday I'm going to present to him both offers, the quick close offer and the flex equity program offer, what the difference is and why 8 out of 10 sellers go with the flex equity program offer versus the quick close, because obviously you get more money, but here's how you get it. And then I'm going to walk them through the process, and hopefully, we can get him to, move forward on that. So Derek said, sorry, the problem didn't start until you got connected with the seller on the call. I see. Okay. Got it. Well, that was the worst time. Hopefully that's just that was a glitch or something. So oh man. I just noticed when I was on the call too, and I don't know if that had to do with anything. My because I can see myself right on the screen. I'm like glitching like during the call. So there was something going on with that. So all right, let's see. He's an appointment book. So perfect. Now we had one more lead come in as. All right, so not a bad start. Okay, here we go. All right, so this person I'm going to move to not interested. Not this one I just talked to, but this lead that I just saw, because they actually D&D themselves. Do not call. Oops. All right. So let's go back. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Sunny should be here. Attempt to contact. Let's see. Coco. Okay. All right. I think we ended up calling all the new PPC leads that came in now. Hey guys, I'll be right back like in 2 minutes. Go take a break, get some water. All right, we're back. You guys still with me? Lorenzo, I love it, bro. Well, I mean, when I'm on a phone call, I can't just stop. Hey, sir, hold on real quick. I want to make sure that I give I want to make sure that I run the promotion really quick. But I get it, bro. I appreciate you though for holding me accountable for it. I love it. So really quick, he said, "I know." You know what I'm saying, Jorge? So the people that are actually, he said, "I just don't want you to forget." No, I know. I didn't take it personal, Lorenzo. It's funny. Thank you for reminding me though. So the Deal Lab is powered by Get Sellers. You guys have heard me talk about this. This is a company owned by a very good friend of mine, Taylor, that I've been using for a very long time. And he's the one that's providing the leads and also the CRM. So he has a lot of marketing experience. I'm actually going to put the link inside of the chat right now, so that way you guys, if not, it's also in the video description, but I just dropped it in the chat for you guys. So he will, if you go to that, if you click the link, you can set up a call with him, a consultation, and he'll talk to you about, what your goals are, what are you trying to accomplish. And Lorenzo, I don't know how long you've been following me. Everyone else that's in here has been following me for a while now, either through YouTube or IG. I don't associate myself with too many brands, right? Because a lot of times it's all about just an affiliate program. And so it's very rare that you're going to see me push products or affiliate myself with just anyone. But Taylor, I've known for a few years now, and he's run campaigns for for some operations that I've been part of. And he's the one that's providing the leads, the CRM that I've showed. If you haven't watched the other episodes, Lorenzo, you need to go back and at least watch the one on Friday and Monday. I break down and I dive deep into the CRM, the setup, and it is through Go High Level. So even if, let's say, you meet with him and you don't want to do the marketing, that call, you can set up a call for him too as well for the CRM. And I think it's like $97 a month. It's very inexpensive. The same CRM that I'm using. The only thing you'll pay extra is for phone numbers. So $97 a month. You'll be using the CRM, and it's embedded inside of the Go High Level system. So you guys know, if you guys ever use anything with Go High Level, it's really good. So again, I want to give them a shout out. Get Sellers. I want to give them a shout out because they're the ones who are sponsoring the show. They're the ones that are providing the lead. They're providing the CRM. And obviously, and like I said, I've known Taylor for a very long time now. The guy's great at what he does, man. Honestly, he's always has us dialed in. He knows what he's doing extremely well. All he does is marketing. Like, he doesn't do anything else. Like, he has a passion for it, just like I have a passion for this show and what I do here. You guys are going to see that with him when it comes to marketing. So shout out to them. Again, the Deal Lab, powered by Get Sellers. Shout out to them. The link's in the chat or in the video description. Click on the link. And by the way, make sure when you book a call with him that if you can't make it, at least give him a heads up. Okay. The guy's extremely busy. So when he has these slots open, right, he has these slots open for a specific reason. So don't just book a consultation with him and then not show up. That's not cool. So again, click on the link there if you want to talk to him about marketing. He also does PPL, by the way, pay per leads. So he can take care of you on that end, right? So he can manage your PPC campaign at a very reasonable price as well too. So I've used in my career, I've used many different PPC campaign managers. Very expensive. It can get really pricey. It can go anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000 a month just to pay someone to manage your PPC campaigns. That doesn't include marketing. So he's not that high. But again, he has passion for what he does. He's been doing it for a long time, way before real estate. Like, this guy's been doing it for for years now. And so shout out to him. Again, with that same lead, you can book the call for either, if you want to talk to him about a PPC marketing campaign, PPL leads, or even the CRM that you guys have seen me show on here more than once. So yeah, give him a shout out. But again, make sure if you do book the call with him, make sure that, one, you show up, and then two, if you can't show up, make sure you give him a heads up. Okay. So hopefully that helps, Lorenzo. Yeah, guys, all the links there's only 3 links that I have. One is for Get Sellers, because they're providing all the leads, right? And then PropStream, because I literally use PropStream the whole, like, for the show as well too. If you guys want to try PropStream for free for 7 days, that link will get you PropStream for free, full access for 7 days. And then the third link is for my school community. In my school community, I have the closers lab system, sales training, and to show you exactly how to talk to sellers the way I'm talking to sellers. So those are the only 3 links that I have on there. All right, let's get back to this. Is it the shook? Or are you talking about the school link is not working? Oh yeah, you're right. Interesting. Let me see. Let me check on it really quick. Oh, I see why. Hold on. I'm going to put a new link in here. for you guys. That is crazy. Thank you for letting me know, man. Okay, I just put it in the chat, and I'm gonna fix it. I'll fix it after the show. There's a part that's missing on the school link. That's why it's not working. So thanks, brother. All right, let's get back to making calls and try to get a hold of sellers. Sorry, guys. I'm texting my dispo. Give me 1 second. All right. If you guys need any, by the way, I'm not. Some of you have asked me about sending in leads for me to call on the live. Honestly, like I don't know if I'm going to do that right now, just because we have a lot of we're starting to get a lot of leads. So eventually down the road, maybe that'll be an option. But right now, right now we're still organizing things, and we're getting enough leads coming in. But the one thing that I can do, if you guys want to work with me, and you can always send me a DM inside of Instagram, is if you need a deal sold, I'm easy to work with. You just tell me, hey, here's my net number. I don't, you know what I mean? Here's my net number, and we'll send it out for you. Have the dispo team work it. And so basically, we can move your deal in any state, So, and again, we'll give you feedback, right? Here's what the buyers are saying. Here's what, and obviously, as long as, here's the thing, I am very flexible the way I work. Like I don't have, like that deal that we just got under contract, that I'm JVing with a friend of mine, right? Shane, we're splitting 50-50 on that deal. But again, I don't not don't ex, I'm, I don't do that with everybody, right? Like, because he's doing everything and he's handling the things and he's helping me out a lot, by the way. So if you want to, but on the dispo side, if you have a deal that you want to sell, and you have it under contract, or you're direct to, you're like the principal on the contract, I'll be more than happy to help you move it. I'm helping like 2 people right now move some deals. And I just get their net price, and I'll add my fee on top, and then we blast it, and then I'll get you the feedback. And I work with people who are flexible as well, right? Where it's like, hey, here's the feedback we're getting. Is there any flexibility? Can we make an adjustment? So I definitely can help you out with that. And if you do have a deal, and it doesn't matter what state it is, let me know, and I'll be more than willing to, get the team to start working on it. I'm gonna move that there. Let's see. Okay, so this one. May 7th, May Day, May 1st. Oh, Tommy. Okay, April 19th. Antonio. Let's call Antonio. Interesting. Just want to make sure I called all the new leads. Yep, talk to him. Yep, talk to her. Okay. So all the new leads have been contacted.
I want y'all to put that in that garbage can out there from the area. You got the garbage can clean out there, okay? Hello?
Hello, Antonio.
This is, I can bring it up to you.
This is who? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can listen. I'm listening.
Antonio, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Hey, my name is Max. I'm calling you because it looks like you spoke to one of my team members about selling that property over at County Road. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to. Go ahead.
Which one are you talking about?
The one I have on file is.
Okay.
Yeah, you still considering selling that one?
Yeah, I'm still interested.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so I wanted to follow through on the information and, obviously ask you a few questions to see if the property qualifies for an offer. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Let me pull. I'm pulling up some information online here. Let's see.
You want me? I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
And can you verify the bedroom and bathroom count for me?
Okay, it's a 3-bedroom, 1 full bed, kitchen, living room, and a bathroom.
Okay, got it. Let's see.
And the only thing that's wrong with the house, I was going to put a new roof on there. I had it just on fixing it, but I got so much going on that I don't have time.
Right, right. You don't have time to fix it up.
No, I don't have time. That's the only reason I'm considering like getting rid of it.
I see. That's fair enough. Fair enough. I mean,
Like it's sitting on a nice piece of property, and the house is not hurt. You know, I had cleaned the house out. We got it set up and everything. Come on, y'all. We got it set up and everything. Where it, all I had to do was just I was gonna put a brand new roof on there, and that way I wouldn't have had no problem with leaks and everything.
mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I see. I see. And then, really quick, is this a rental property or your primary residence?
No, it was a rental that I had, but I moved. I
Oh,
ended up moving and getting married.
oh, I see. Was that happened recently?
Yes.
Oh man, congratulations.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, of course. Let me see. I'm trying to pull it up here. So let me verify the address one more time. For some reason, it's not pulling up for me. Let me see. Hold on really quick. Okay, there it goes. All right. Okay, so it was a rental property, and then is it currently vacant or occupied?
It's vacant. It's been vacant for about a year.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. So it's been vacant for that long, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because I couldn't make my mind up what I was gonna do.
Correct. And when it was, when you did have tenants in place, what were you getting for rents?
I was living there.
Oh, you were living there. Okay, got it. Got it.
I was living there.
And then you didn't know if you were going to rent it out or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I had intentions on renting it out. So that was my whole plan. I was gonna fix it up because we just needed painting, redo the cabinets in there,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to put a couple sheets of sheetrock up in the kitchen, and because I had to put a piece of sheetrock in a bedroom. I was gonna do that, and I was gonna put a new roof on and just rent it out because in the area that it's in, people are renting because it's kind of like in the country a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
But for the right price, I'll sell it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, that's always the $1 million question, right? What's the right price? Have you thought about what you would want to get for the property?
Well, I want to sell the house, the property, and all of that.
Yeah.
And I was looking at about 24. I know it's worth more than that.
You want to get how much again? One more time?
At least 20.
At least 20 for it? Okay. I see.
And I'm willing to negotiate, but I know for a fact I'm not. Yes, ma'am. I know for a fact that I wouldn't take me $10,000.
Yeah. That makes sense, man. Yeah.
Because I can fix it up and it'll be runnable in no time.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay.
I got it. Thank you, Tom. But yeah, I'm interested in if you make a decent offer, we might can talk.
Okay. And if I do find out that I can get you the, let's say I can pay you the 20,000, would you feel comfortable putting things in writing?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm a businessman.
Got it. Okay, got it. And I just have a few more questions and we'll be done here. And I definitely want to look into this. Is there anyone else that's going to have an input when you sell the property that's going to help you make the decision?
I'm the only one making that decision.
Yeah, I do see on here you're the only one. It looks like you're the only one on title.
That's right.
Who's the other? I see another owner on here.
Who you talking about? Not the January.
Oh, that was the seller, right? Marquita. Yeah, I'm sorry, not January. Yeah, Marquita. Who is that?
Yeah, Marquita, that's my wife.
Oh, that's your wife. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we were to make the offer and I send you, the paperwork, is she open to? She's looking at. She's comfortable selling too.
It's all up to me, bro. It's all up to me.
No, good. I just want to make sure, right? Because I know in the past I've had situations where we got two owners and we send it to one and the second one doesn't want to sign. That's the only reason why I'm being cautious about it.
Oh no, you ain't gonna do that.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. So how much work? I mean, as far as I know, you mentioned earlier that the you need cabinets, you need a new roof. What about the AC unit and like the other components of the house?
Well, we had window units.
You had window units?
Okay. Yeah, we had window units.
All right. Window units. Okay. When's the last time you went to see the property, by the way?
I was out there last week. Someone up front, well, one of the neighbors, they building the house in front of them. I was gonna buy that lot right there. They're building the house there because I wanted to make the driveway bigger. But they ended up buying the piece of property up front. And they already have a piece on the side over there that they use. So they building the house right there in front of them.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, perfect. And then is there any like unpermitted additions to the property at all that you know of?
No, it's not.
There's not. Okay, got it. Yeah, sometimes that I just want to ask that because that can sometimes kill the deal, So the square footage is the main house, the 1638.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Because it's sitting on about it looks like it's on at least an acre and a half.
Yeah, I do see that on here. It says 1 acre on it.
Because it's bigger than to add a whole nother house in the back of.
Okay. And then what's your timeline look like if we made you an offer to sell this?
The day of your pop.
No, I get it, man. I know. Obviously, one of the ways we work is we want to make sure that everything's transferable. We run things through title. We pay for all that. We'll pay for the closing. The offer we make is going to be net to you. You don't end up paying any closing cost. If we did come up with an offer in regards to, where you didn't have to pay anything out of pocket, don't have to make any repairs, what's the lowest you feel comfortable selling if you didn't have to do any of that?
I'll say about 16, 15.
Okay. Got it. And I'm making a note of that. So, because that's what I want to do. I want to create an offer where you don't have to do anything and also don't have to pay anything out of pocket. So 16,000. And then if I can't pay you that, sounds like you're ready to put things in writing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Can I place you on hold for like 60 seconds and look it over the information really quick?
Okay.
Okay, give me like 60 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Well, hey, since you right there back, go get the paper.
Antonio, you there? All right, he can't hear me. So guys, like this is, I'm looking right now at the area. It's a little out there. So a few things, population is small. I need to see how far it is from the next major city, because even if I get it at 10 grand, right? Like if I can't move it, that's not going to make sense at all. Let's see. Ouch, man. It's an hour. It's a little over an hour away from Montgomery. Oof.
Hey, they got a new glass on one plate.
Maybe I can flat list it, put it on Baycom.
See, if you ever felt like doing it, they get that one shot, one key. Now you see that white and cool.
It's the only way this deal would work, because there ain't no major city around
that's
close to it for over an hour is the closest one.
Well, you need to talk to her and apologize. Tell her you got to write up statement to this thing. You need to advocate. Talk to her. You walk around with an attitude, and my will, just like you said, you need to say, Jessica, can I speak with you, please? And then you tell her your side. You know how to do that. But when she gets through doing the pass pay drop, raise your hands and you Jessica, can I speak with you, please?
All right, here's what I'm going to tell him. Oh, man. All right. Antonio, you there?
I'm still here.
Okay, sorry about that, man. I just wanted to plug in the information, and I looked at the area, and you're about a little over an hour from Montgomery, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're in Selma, right? Yeah, and I'm trying to see what other major cities close to you, but it looks like Montgomery is the closest one.
You will have what major city? Yeah, Montgomery will be the next place.
Yeah, Montgomery, and so
if you're going the other way, that'll be Birmingham.
Right. I see that. Yeah, that's a lot farther. So when I plug this into my system and I'm looking at as far as what an offer would be, just because we're sort of away from major cities, it's coming in right around 12,500. The offer.
Mm-hmm. If you can come up to about 15 or 14, you might be sorry. I'll let it go.
Okay. So if I can do 14, you would feel comfortable if I send you the paperwork?
If you do 14, we gotta do it.
Okay. And then let me see something really quick. Looking at I got an email address of yours. Hold on really. All right. Let me place you on hold here really quick. Another 60 seconds, okay? Bear with me.
Okay.
I mean, that works at 14. That's a lot better. Man, this is going to be... We'll just have to flat list it. There's MLS activity, though, from what I can see. Like a lot of MLS activity. I'll just... All right, Antonio, you there?
I'm still here.
Okay, here's what I'll do then. I'm okay with going up to the 14th, to the 14,000. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on writing, send it over to that email, and just confirm with you. Two things that as far as what I would like to do next is, one, if I send it to you, would you be available to get on the phone and go through the agreement with me?
I'm at work, but yeah, I can do all that.
Okay. If I send it to you, when should I expect the back sign if I send it to you?
Well, you can send it. If you send it today, I can sign everything and get it back to you
By tomorrow?
If you get all the paperwork, tomorrow is Friday.
Yeah, because it'll go through. It's just the e-signature. You can pull it up on your phone and click sign, and then that's
okay. Well, I can do that today.
Okay. Well, let me write it up. I'll have it to you probably in about 15 minutes, and then I'll let you know once it's in your inbox. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Antonio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Boom. All right. I got to get this thing locked up. It is a little out there, but I got them from 20 down to 14, so got another extra $6,000. What I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna flat list it. So I have a marketing description, send them the AIF, and then just potentially flat list it. I'll put it on Investor Lift first just to see if we get any bites. But you see, again, it's just 20 just would put me way out of ballpark. And I think the property's worth, let me look here. There's a lot of activity, right? It's just 20 would put me out of range. I mean, there's a lot, there's one right now for sale. There's one right now for sale for oh, that's not it. His is a 3-1, 1638. Let me see something real quick. I thought I saw one. Actually, let me go to solds. And then I'm gonna do at least three bedrooms. So then the last 90 days. I want to do 3-1. Holy smokes, dude. So 113,000. There's one that sold for 113,000. So 14 grand is not bad. You know what I mean? 1638 square feet. Let's see. We'll do 1750 at the most. Another one sold for 140. Now this is a 3-2 though. This is a 3-2 sold for 140. Same square footage, same lot size. Let's see, 1950 build. This one's a little newer. So I'm thinking like this ARV is probably gonna be like 115, 110, 115. So for 16,000, yeah, why not? All right, I gotta write that contract up and send it to him. We're locked in. So I appreciate the fire emoji skills for real. Yeah, this is you see the sign right there, bro. It says real calls, real deals, real closers. D, how you doing? That's awesome. Jose said, Mac, do you make offers based on how much they owe after I pay your loan fee? How much no, I make offers on what they want, right? What is it that you want for the property? And mostly what they need, right? What do you need to walk away with, right? You have to be careful though, because some sellers will give you a number, but they don't take into consideration what they owe. So sometimes you have to this. That's why I use PropStream, by the way, guys. PropStream told me everything. Who's on the deed. You notice I asked them, right? Did you guys hear that? Did you pay attention to me asking them that? Who's this other person? So PropStream gives me that information, by the way. So again, I mean the total tax assessed value on this property is $12,000, right? So we're picking it up for a little bit over that price point at 14,000, right? So why not? Yeah, the total assessed value 11,900, $12,000. So we're picking it up for another 2,000, close to that. Um, money, money, baby. That was a cold call, by the way, Derek. That's for you, bro. That's a cold call that came in. So get those cold callers dialing, bro. Jalen, what's going on? But again, the right seller, right, guys? Like, let's be serious here. Like, but look how many. Look the other day, how many of those cold calls did I call? And a lot of them were like, "Well, we're not serious yet. We're not ready yet. This and that." Like, right there, that again, how many of those did I have to go through in order to get to this one here? I'm glad you caught that, bro. Most people don't catch that. That silence, he came right back with a discount. And look, even if he would have came back and said like, "Hey, no, I can't go that low." Well, the money question is, okay, well, how close can you be to that, right? So he went from 20, 16 to 14, right? Everything's negotiable, man. When as soon as he told me like the property's been vacant for a year, it scares me a little bit, but that's okay. I mean, at that price point, I'm not too worried about it. You're buying a property for 14 grand, so but yeah, I'm glad you caught that. That was you gotta stay quiet, bro. Don't say one word. Let them talk. All right, I'm writing up the contract right now to send it to him. recipient. So weird. Not letting me. Interesting. Hmm. Let me call back. Let's see if Marquita's got her. If she's got an email.
Hello?
Hey, Antonio. It's
Okay.
hey. I have a question for you. Does Marquita have an email, or am I going to use your email as well?
You can use my email as well.
Your
But
email.
she does have,
Say that again.
she has on she has on her.
All right. She does have her own email, so I had to make sure to check that. So it's important to have the right tools because, don't ever go off of the name on the only don't ever go off only the name that comes in as the lead, right? You got to be careful with that because you could be running into a situation where you write it up wrong. You got to That's why I like using prop stream, and there's some other systems you can also use it because to give you the right information when it comes to ownership, right? Because there's always going to be other owners, or in some cases, the property might be under an LLC, right? You don't know that until you look it up, and it's like, oh man, like it's you send it out, and now you got to redo it all over again, and it's not a good, it's not a good conversation that you got to call the seller back again. It just makes it seem like you don't know what you're doing. All right, about to send it off. Just want to make sure. I always want to double check it because I want to leave nothing wrong or nothing off. So, all right, let's send this baby. Let's send this puppy. Later. All right. So it's send out. I want him to sign it now. So let me send him a message. Oh, let me have her a second order. All right. Shall we end the live now? Now that we got it, now that we got one send out. All right, let me move this. Offer accepted. Verbal offer accepted. And contract set. I'm gonna move it to offer stage. Update that. Okay, so what I did is I tagged it as verbal offer accepted, contract sent, and then I moved it over to the offer stage. Offer stage is right before the under contract. Jorge said no. No, I'm not gonna end it, bro. I gotta get another contract. One contract a day keeps the what? Who can finish that line? One contract a day keeps what away? Who wants to finish that? All right, what do we have next? Paid bills. That's true. It's definitely true, brother. Except bills. Mhm. Keeps them away, right? Keeps the unpaid bills away. Is that what you're saying? I think. We're gonna get back to dining right now. Just see everything I'm doing back there. Sending contracts, talking to sellers, shooting content, like a one man band out here for now. Oh man, this is ridiculous. All right, what do we got here? Jalen said, "What's up, brother? I recently had a seller back out of a big novation. Said he was keeping it, then listed it and sold with a realtor. What do you usually do when a seller says they want out?" So the first thing is have a conversation, right? Say, hey, what's going on? What's happening? I'm frustrated, right? Because it's very important. Okay, here, let me explain something really quick because then I'll ask you a question. Okay? So when like this example, right? This contract that I'm listening to this guy, right? Okay, so let's say I get it under contract. Let's say that just like you did, right? And so what you need to do is before this happens, you got to make sure that you did everything right, right? And when I say that, like, were you staying in touch with their sellers? Were you communicating with them? Were you letting them know we're not getting any offers? And the process is being very slow. Was there like were there? And when you do that, it helps you to identify any sudden changes, their attitude, and their in the way that they feel about the process, right? Usually, right? And I'm not saying that sellers don't abruptly wake up one day and say, "Hey, I don't want to do this anymore," because that happens. But what I'm saying is that that is something that has to be done consistently to make sure that this doesn't happen. Now, let's fast forward and get to where you're at, right? Mo- Hold on, before I get there, most of us, and I've done this in the past. That's why I say most of us. I don't care who you are. Most of us do this. We get the property under contract, and we don't contact the seller until two things: one, something went wrong, right? Or two, we're about to close. And let's be real, right? What a one have you done that in the past? I'm being real with you guys because I've done it, right? What a one have you done that in the past? I'm not saying that you did this. I'm just trying to make a point here. So it's very important to stay in communication once a week. Put a reminder. You got Google Tasks you can use for free, Google Calendar, to give the seller a call and just kind of give them an insight on what's going on. A lot of us don't do that. We avoid that. Like if we call the seller, they're gonna want to get out of the contract. But if they're not hearing from you, because you're not giving them updates, whether good, bad, or indifferent, then they have to make a decision on what they should do, right? And I'm laying the groundwork here so I can answer your question, because a lot of this stuff can be avoided if we do some things. And Jalen, I'm not saying you didn't do this or you didn't do that. I'm just making the point for everyone else, because we tend to just think that title company is our TC or whatever the case may be. No, stay in communication, a text, message, an email, something that's touching them and saying, "Hey, here's where we are in the process. This week we got 0 offers. We got 2, 4, 2, 3 interested parties, but I didn't want them. I didn't want to show them the property because they're not pre-qualified yet. Awesome. They get an update. Hey, Jalen's working or Max is doing something, right? So the line of communication needs to be kept open, don't just wait until one, something goes wrong, two, the property is ready to close, right? You gotta maintain the relationship and the openness and the communication throughout the process. Let's say you did all that, right? Let's say you were doing everything you needed to do, you were calling the sellers, you were, in communication with them, and then boom, you're here. Okay. I just want to lay that groundwork, because this can be a symptom of other things that we didn't do right. Right. This is the outcome. This is a symptom of something that happened. I'm not saying that again. I'm not trying to say, but you know how I like to explain things. I like to give you some feedback and lay some groundwork before I answer your question. Things that we need to be doing at a high level to avoid certain situations like this, right? And so basically, what we need to do is stay in communication. So let's say you're here now, right? Seller calls you and says, "Hey, you know what, Max? We're deciding we're going to keep the property, right?" And so then you got to figure out, like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, I'm a little confused because when we initially started this whole process, we literally did this because you wanted to sell because of XYZ. You told me you wanted to be done with this property. You had mentioned that you no longer wanted to, be part of, like, you didn't want nothing to do with this. You got to work, you got to bring them back to that, because sellers go cold, guys. And especially if you don't stay in communication throughout the process, because they believe nothing's happening, right? And so you got to, when you have this conversation, right, and figure out what's going on, sometimes you do have to get a little assertive. I didn't say aggressive. Sometimes you need to be a little assertive and say, "Hey, Jalen, you know, I get all that. Here's why we initially started this process, right? We're under we're under a legal binding contract, and I've already, spent money on resources. I hired this person. I paid for pictures, and so confused here. Help me out. The only reason I did this was because I wanted to help you." Right? You asked for my help, and I said, "Here's how we can help you." And then depending on the conversation goes, if it gets too aggressive, then you gotta be assertive, right? Or if they get aggressive or they try to say, "Well, I just don't wanna do it no more." Like, "Well, I get that. Let's do this, okay? There's a reason why you started this process from the beginning, right? There's a reason why you did this. So take today, okay? Take today, think about the next steps. We got a lot of activity, right? Or if you want to say that we got a lot of activity on the property, I want to get you your money. There was a reason why we did this. I want to make sure that we continue and get to the finish line. Okay, I'm here for you. This is the way you have to make them feel comfortable, and let them know, like, you mean business and you're spending time doing this, right? Um, so what if they say, "No, I still don't want to. No, I still don't want to. Still don't want to move forward. Like, we're gonna decide to keep it, right?" Well, now you're gonna have to make a decision how you're gonna go from assertive, right? Be assertive. How aggressive you want to get, right? Like, depending on the excuse, depending on the conversation. Like, this is not just this is a blanket question, right? It deserves a little bit more thought process to it because not every scenario you want to get aggressive, right? I mean, if something happened, in this case, you sold with a realtor, which is tells you right there, right? Like sometimes you have to be assertive and say, hey, listen, unfortunately, we're under a legal binding contract, and our intentions is to fulfill the obligation of the agreement. Is that not what you're looking to do? You see? So now I'm collaborating, being assertive at the same time, not being aggressive yet because we're not there yet, right? Because if they say no, right? If they say no, so are you trying, like with that question, what you're doing is you're asking if they're avoiding their contractual obligation with you. Because you just told them, hey, we're under a legal binding contract. We have the full intent to fulfill our obligation on our side. So are you telling me that you don't want to fulfill your obligation, right? And if they tell you absolutely, like if again, depending on their response, because everybody's going to respond different, right? But you got to put them. There's a process to all this, man. First, it starts with open line communication, good, bad, indifferent. Like deliver the message, guys. Like just let them know. At the end of the day, right? If they're happy with it, awesome. If they're not, it's it all depends. But if there's no communication, you're not telling them what's going on, right? And then boom, you get hit with the hey, we're going to take it off, or we don't want to do this anymore, or we're just going to keep it, whatever the case may be. It's a surprise, right? Because it's a surprise to them, they haven't heard. So then, what do we do? Right? Those things, we need to do those things. It's a process to get them to the point of where we need to make sure that they understand how much invest. The reason for the communication is not so much to try to keep telling them what you're doing, like in a micromanagement sense, but it's to show how much effort you're putting into this. So that way, when these doubts and these questions creep up, right? Or sorry, the doubts and the wanting to back out creep up, they're gonna have a second. They're gonna have some sort of a second thought process of whether approaching you with this. Um, but once you hear this and they're trying to cancel for no reason, if your contract calls for it, I'm not giving you legal advice, just educational purposes. You can put a notice of interest where you can record your contract. I mean, that's just what it is. So in case if they do sell with a realtor, guess who they need to call to release the property. And that's something I always tell sellers. Look, and again, guys, like I'm not trying to say I'm hardcore. I've let sellers off contracts many times, but also it depends on the reason and depends on the conversation, right? And I will tell sellers like, hey, listen, I want to help you out here. You invested. This is what you told me. You're going to sell it. I'm trying to help you do that. We're in a legal binding contract, and we still plan on fulfilling that obligation to the agreement we signed. Are you not looking to do the same, right? And eventually, the conversation gets to the point where it's like, look, all I'm going to say is that I'm not hearing a good reason, and if you don't hear a good reason, you should be having this conversation of if you do decide not to move forward at all, just because you decided that you had a higher offer or you decided that you want to do this, eventually what's going to happen is if you do sell in the future, you're going to have to speak with me because our contract states that we have an interest in the property, right? So, but it's all based on the conversation. I'm not somebody to preach, record memorandums, right? Record a notice of interest. You shouldn't do that, right? You shouldn't do that. So, um, I thought about that because he lied to me, but I heard they can sue for defamation. Why? I'm not sure I understand. I thought about that because he lied to me, but I heard they can sue. Heard from who? From what? It's a contractual obligation that they signed, that they committed to, right? So defamation. What do you mean? You thought about recording the memorandum? Information of title. What state is this, by the way? I think. Look, if it's in your agreement and they sign off on it, I don't know where this is coming from or who told you that. Unless it's something new, I haven't heard any. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I haven't heard any news. Look, at the end of the day, for me personally, I'm the type of guy that's gonna do it and deal with it. Like, but unless this is something new, I don't know. I have no idea what you're saying with this because, um, yeah, I've never heard that. And especially if it's this is why it's important to have airtight agreements, right? Airtight agreements, full intention. Remember we talked about this on Friday? Yeah, Friday. Disclose, 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 disclose. Put it in writing, right? So important to understand that, and your agreement needs to be airtight for situations like this. Okay, let's see. Dang, time's flying. Wow. Hmm, interesting. Let me see. It's weird. Said I had inbound call, but I never heard it go off. Hmm, that's really weird. All right, let's get back to this. By the way, who else has dealt with that situation? Jimmy, what's up, brother? He said keeps the KPIs in play. Let's go. Jimmy Wright.
call has been forwarded.
Sorry, guys. I'm trying to call some more leads, but I'm working on something that there's something on my inbound calls. It's a live show. Anything can happen. Right? Let's call this one back.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice message. Not accepted message.
Yep. Gotta put that one in the contact. There's the 10. Another tip for you guys out there is don't get. I see this happen a lot too, right? You guys heard me joke earlier. Should we end the live? Like we got an agreement, right? Should we end the live? A lot of times, what tends to happen, we tend to take our foot off the gas, right? Because I already forgot about that deal. Like that agreement is like the only thing I worry about is the goes get it signed, dispo, all that stuff. But that to me doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? That's gone. Like blinders on. Don't get seduced by success, even to the smallest of the smallest. Stay focused. There's a bigger there's a bigger goal in play here, right? Don't get write that down. Don't get seduced by success. Forget about it. Okay. All everything else that's already been completed, like Don't like pop your collar and relax. Like just keep it going, right? We still got a pipeline to build. We got 250,000 that goal that I set for myself by the end of the second quarter. Like there's goals here to hit. Like don't get it twisted, right? That's gone. That's gone. We got it. Yay! Let's move on. Right? Let's keep it moving. Jimmy says, "Yeah, of course, bro. Keep it moving. Don't be seduced by success." I see this happen so many times. People get a contract, they close a deal, feel good about themselves, and it's like, I'm gonna relax a little, bro. You know when the best time to get an agreement, another agreement, is right after the one you just got. Why? Because you're in the right state of mind. Your thought process is focused. Your dopamine level is is vibing for a good reason, right? Positive, not because of social media, because of this. So get focused and get back in the game. You know what I mean? Like game ain't over. And it never will. Don't be seduced by success, no matter how big, no matter how small. Rest at the end, not at the middle. Who said that? Rest at the end and not the middle. Who do you think said that? Who said that? Who can get that right? Rest at the end and not in the middle.
Either leave me a message and I'll call you back.
Nah, bro. Call you back. And don't Google it.
Either leave me a message and I'll call you back.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages.
Oh, come on, bro. Check your voicemail, dog.
Hello, Tech.
Hello, Kenneth.
Hello, may I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Yes, sir. This is Max. I am calling you because you had filled out a form on our website about selling the property over at Chestnut Run Road.
No, nobody filled out no form.
Okay. Did you speak to one of our team members about it?
That's a possibility.
Got it. Okay.
Yes, that's all it takes for somebody to put a bunch of crap on a computer.
Possibly. Are you interested in selling that one?
Uh, it's It could possibly be a nobody's rushing into it.
Yeah, yeah.
For the right price.
Okay. Which is
210.
210,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Just to see if the property qualifies for an offer from us and try to get you closer. Is that fair? Appreciate it. Thank you. Pulling it up right now. Can you verify the bedroom and bathroom count for me? All right. That's what I have here online. And then I do have square footage of a little over 1,000 square feet.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Pretty close to it. I think it's more accurately, it's 1,012. So
Yeah.
okay, no problem. And something I don't see obviously on my end, is this a rental property or your primary residence?
Oh, it's nobody's. It's not being rented. Primary.
It's your primary. Okay, no problem. Appreciate you for that. Now, Kenneth, when you decide to sell this, not necessarily to us anyways, is there any, what's that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I mean, close to not.
Did I catch you at a bad time, Kenneth? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Kenneth,
Yeah,
did I catch you at a bad time? Do you want me to call you back when you have some time to talk?
what other questions?
Well, I mean, I don't know anything about the property. I'm not sure, what it needs. Just trying to figure out what your timeline is. We can't put an offer on something we don't know anything about.
Uh,
Sounds like I caught you at a bad time.
yeah, that's going on.
No problem. That's fair. If you were me calling you back about this, where you have, where there's no interruption, when would you do that? Okay. You mean 7 works better for you? All right. What I'll do is I have it here on my calendar to give you a call then, 7 in the evening. It'd be like a 5 or 10 minute call, and then we'll get some information and get you that offer. Okay. Thank you, Kenneth. That's crazy that you guys. I haven't had any issues at all, and I started this. You guys are getting a choppy audio. Is it choppy like you can't hear the whole conversation, like it's going in and out, or is it like his call like choppy? Like is that what you're saying, Lorenzo? So I can get a better understanding and troubleshoot this. And is anyone else? Did anyone else hear it be choppy? That's it. Chop, chop. I don't know what's going on then. Um, Interesting. Test, 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 test. Can you guys hear me okay right now? Am I muffly too? Like my volume? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
931. Nine, three. Unavailable.
Hello, Brandon. This is Max. I was calling about your property on Patricia Drive because have you tried RE Simply? No. So I answered this question already when I was talking about the CRM. I think it's Thursdays and Fridays episode. This past week, I think it's episode 3 and 4. So I've seen it, right? This is what I said on that day. I'm not gonna go through everything I said, but I've seen it. I've been in it. Aesthetically, it looks good. I'm pretty sure that it functions well because, and the reason I said that was because even though I haven't used it, I know a lot of people that are switching over, to that. And so uh, I'm guessing because there are people who are switching from what I want to say left main, like left. They're switching from left main, which is Salesforce, to that. Um, but I don't know anything. I don't know the functionality because I never got to use it. I did get to see it explore inside of the demo for us. It looked it looked pretty good, like aesthetically, and it looks like it runs off. It looks like almost it looks almost similar as what I want to say go high level setup, right? And aesthetically, it looks. I don't think they use go high level. I think they build their own platform, but I I did like the way it looked. Like I said, it must be audio choppy. What's hmm. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Audio is choppy. Yeah, I gotta find out what that is and why it's doing that. Hold on real quick, guys. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what is going on. Why it's doing that. It's the first day that we had sound issues. Not sure why. It's doing that. Everything looks fine. Huh? Yeah. Test, test, test. Hello, hello. Test, test, test. 1 2 1 2 test. 1 2 1 2 test, test. Test, test, test. 1 2 1 2. Test, testing, testing, testing. 1 2. Yeah, I know. All right, I'm just gonna end the live. Test, testing, testing, testing. 1 2. It could, yeah, but it could be the internet because I'm connected to this. All right, guys. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end the live now. I mean, we're only like usually I like to end it at 2 o'clock, but I'm just having too many issues. You guys aren't listen. You guys can't hear the calls anyways. So I'm gonna end the live. Hopefully you can hear me. And then I will tune in tomorrow though. I'll have all this fixed. This is the first time I have issues with the sound. So, but hey, that's what happens when you're on a live, right? Anything can happen, even with sellers, even with everything. So I will thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I mean, we were on here for almost 3.5 hours, so that's pretty solid. So for those of you that want to join later, that want to join me, 10 a.m. Arizona time, Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, I can get this fixed and get this going with the sound, and we don't have this issue anymore moving forward. So cool. Drop a thumbs up in the chat if you got value out of this. If you're gonna be tuning in tomorrow as well too, drop the drop the thumbs up. Yeah, so yeah, I'll just end it because I'm lagging like really bad, and then the sound keeps going in and out. You guys are not gonna be able to hear sellers, and that's the whole point of being on this live. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Go out there and crush it. Finish the day strong. Make sure that you stay focused and you stay locked in. And I'll see you guys in the morning. All right. Later.